Namaskar to everybody. Vanakkam to all. I sincerely express my heartfelt to the management and all the staffs of Sangam Talks for giving me the opportunity to deliver my lecture on the date of Mahabharata war. And I also thank to the various experts, knowledgeable persons, and also students who are listening this lecture. In this session, I am going to deal about date of Mahabharata war. As I was introduced, I am an eye surgeon, historian, archaeologist, epigraphist, and I am doing research on the historical chronology of our nation Bharat since the time of Mahabharata up to 1947. I am doing my administrative and academic executive committee member at member syndicate Alagappa Government University, previously in the same position in Government Bharathidasan University and Tamil University. These are all my contact numbers and my mail ID and my website. In this session, I am going to deal about date of Mahabharata war. Actually, it covers 3 parts. First part is the introductory part, and also it details about what are all the astronomical events that were expressed, detailed, and described in the text of Veda Vyasa, that is Mahabharata of Veda Vyasa. That I will cover in the first part. In the second part, to derive the date, I have used the trigonometric and astronomical calculations and constants that were described in detail, elaborately, accurately in the ancient astronomical text of our great nation Bharat. And based on that, I have calculated the positions of the Graha, occurrence of the lunar and solar eclipse and other astronomical events. Thereby, I fixed the date of Mahabharata war. That I will explain in the second part. It actually covers how we calculate the Agargana and also Madhya positions, Spuda position using Bhujandra, Desandra correction, Manda correction, and Sigra correction, and other technical calculations. That I will cover in the second part. In the third part, I will discuss the result and I will analyze the result, how it is corroborative, coherent, and harmony with other fields of science, that is archaeology, epigraphy, chronology, and literature, how it is coherent. That I will discuss. After that, I will, with the conclusion, I will end the 3-session lecture series with the third part. In the first part, I am going to cover, these are all the book I have written. In this lecture, these 2 books are connected with this lecture. One is astronomical evidence of the date of Mahabharata war, and another one is Kali Yuga inscriptional evidence. I have detailed much all this, what I am going to narrate in these 2 books. They are available in Amazon.in. So, in this first session, what I am going to detail is, first thing, I have to prove that Mahabharata is definitely a history. That we have to prove. And the second thing is, what are all the fields of science and arts which will help us to derive the Mahabharata war date exactly. And the third part is the most important thing, that the number of years difference of years between the date of Mahabharata war and Kali Yuga beginning. How much years is different? Based on the internal evidence of Mahabharata text itself. And the fourth part is the astronomical events that are narrated by Veda Vyasa. This is the thing I am going to detail in this first lecture. First, how to prove Mahabharata is a history. That is based on archaeological excavations. First, I will deal. But first one is Mahabharata happened. If immediately what we know, immediately Sri Krishna will come in our mind. So, Sri Krishna's residence Dwaraka in Gujarat state. So, there the marine archaeology, that is underwater study, that will reveal that there are strong civilized town structures, city structures 6 meters below the present day modern sea level. So, at near Bet Dwaraka in Gujarat, that proves that the date beyond 1900 BCE. And the pottery and walls, thermoluminescence method, scientific method, they proved the date is before 1600 BC. Dr. S.R. Rao, a great archaeologist and also National Institute of Oceanography, Goa, they tried with the help of Archaeological Survey of India, they have found out some 20 years back, but unfortunately it has not proceeded further. If it would have proceeded further, they would have proved that it may be beyond this 1900 or 1600, nearly 3000 or 3100 they would have gone. But why, we don't know. It was unfortunately not proceeded further. And the second thing is, after Dwarka, the most important city is Hastinapura in Uttar Pradesh state near Meerut on the west bank of Ganga. Here there are a lot of excavations are done, and they found out painted grey ware. That is, date is 2800 BCE. And Draupadi kitchen, Draupadi got, where copper, iron, gold and other terracotta findings are there. Ivory dice also there. You know, dice is important thing in Mahabharata. They prove that 3000 BCE. And Viduraka Tila, Viduraka place, Vidura we know, the important character in Mahabharata. His palace was found, and there are 135 iron objects. All these things prove that Mahabharata, that incidents, war and other incidents happened before 3000 BCE. And this Vishnu Purana, in this chapter, in this sloka, mentioned that during the King Nishaknu, who came in the Pandava Vamsa, the sixth king from Parikshit, who came to power after Yudhishthira, there was flood in Ganga, so he shifted his capital from Hastinapura to Kuzambi. So that is about 150 to 175 years from Mahabharata. There is a literature evidence for that. And the important thing is Kurukshetra, where the war actually happened in Haryana state. There we found iron arrows and spearheads. That is the thing, that weapons that were used in Kurukshetra, they analyzed the date of that weapons by thermoluminescence, the most advanced technology, even better than carbon dating. It proved that date is 3100 BCE. So definitely Mahabharata war was happened around 3100 BC, and it is a history that also proved. And the recent finding in Sanoli in Uttar Pradesh, you would have all heard in the newspapers, there is a chariot drawn by horse, nearly 5000 year old. That is at least before 2200 BCE. And the whip is found out, and male warriors and female warriors' bodies were found out. So there is horse-drawn chariots means it were used in Mahabharata war. And another thing is, horse was there before 2200 BC. That is an important finding, because what we read on Aryan invasion theory, Aryan came from Central Asia in the year 1500 BC. And they only brought horses. That was what we read in history textbooks. But it was totally disproved and made unscientific by this finding that even before 700 years before itself, there were horses in our nation. That is the thing. This is the picture of that horse-ridden chariot. You can find out. And is there any inscription or numismatic evidence for Mahabharata history? Yes. In Madhya Pradesh state, in Besnagar, in Vidisha district, this was the iron pillar. It was dated 113 BCE, 2133 years before. What it mentioned, Vasudeva, the Sri Krishna's name, Deva of Devas, Bhagavata, that person who erected this pillar is a devotee of Krishna. That was the mentioned. Actually, this is the inscription there on the thing, and it mentioned Deva Devasu Vasudevasa. Heliodharana, Heliodhara his name. He is from Takshashila. So it is a strong evidence that Sri Krishna is a historical personality. And this is from Afghanistan, not from western part of ancient Bharat. At Iconum, there are coins of Balarama and Sri Krishna, 200 BCE. You see, this is the Balarama. He is having a pluff in his hand and mace in his hand. the weapons of Balarama. And this is Sri Krishna, Chakra is there, and Changu is there. So definitely both are historical personalities that were proved by these coins. And this is a rock painting at Madhya Pradesh. You can see Balarama with fluff and mace and Sri Krishna with chakra and Shangu. And this is a female deity. It is 3rd and 2nd century BCE. So Balarama, Krishna, all these three things prove that they are a historical personality. And Tamil Nadu is down south. Usually people think that Tamil Nadu is entirely different. No, it is entirely wrong concept. There is Sinnamanur larger copper plate in Tamil Nadu and Nidhanpur copper plate in Assam. Both were distanced from Kurukshetra and Hastinapura by thousands of kilometers. But I can show evidence from these copper plates that were issued thousands of kilometers away from Kurukshetra and Hastinapura. This Sinnamanur larger copper plate was issued 1100 years before, 1100 years. King Rajasimha Pandya, a famous king of Pandya. And it mentions Pandya as Panchava. We used to call the Pancha Pandava. This Pandya also called as Panchava. And what it mentions, this Pandya king participated in the Mahabharata war. There are inscriptional evidence that we should understand. With the elephant force, he defeated big warriors with chariot in Mahabharata war. Bharadathir Pahadottiyu. That was the mention in Tamil. Bharadathir Pahadu. Pahadu means elephant force. Maharadhar, the big warriors with chariot. They were defeated by Pandya king. There are strong evidence even in Tamil Nadu that Mahabharata is a history. And further it mentioned, it helped Arjuna, Vijaya, to get rid of his curse from Vasu. Vasu once cursed Arjuna, and that was removed by Pandya king. That much was a relationship with Pandya and Arjuna. And this Nidhanpur copper plate inscription is more 1300 years before, 350 years. And it mentions Bhagadatta, the king of Kamarupa or Brahjotita, participated in the Mahabharata war on the side of Kaurava. And in the Drona Parva 27th Adhyaya fully describe Bhagadatta's fighting. And so even Nidhanpur copper plate from Assam and larger Sinnamanur plate of Tamil Nadu, both are distanced by thousands of kilometers, proved Mahabharata is a history. And what about literature? All you know, I don't want to need detail. Purana, especially Srimad Bhagavatam and Mahabharata text. And many texts are there to prove Mahabharata is a history. But I want to add one important, interesting thing. In Tamil Sangam literature, the very ancient Sangam Tamil literature, at least 3000 years old. So whether it mentions Mahabharata, yes. In Purananur poem 2, it mentions Alangolai Puravi, Ivarodesine, Nilandalai Konda, Polambundumba, Year Aimbadinur, Porudu, Kalatolia, Perinjotru, Mikavadam Varayadu Gudutoi, Pal Pulipin, Pakalilin, and all Veda Neritirinum Tiria Chutramudu. That is the song. Alangolai Puravi, Ivarodesine. The persons, 5 persons who ride in horse, from their land was captured by Year Aimbadinarum, 100 persons. So Pandava land was captured by Duryodhana and Kaurava, and Year Aimbadin means 100 persons. They were defeated in the war. In that war, this Chera king, Cheraman Perinjotru Udayan Seraladan, fed Pandava army. He stood on the Dharma side, so he should live long. That was the blessing of a Tamil poet on Cheraman Perinjotru Udayan Seraladan. So there is a strong evidence. And further it mentions Alangolai Puravi. Puravi means horse. So horse was there even during Mahabharata war, as per Tamil Sangam literature evidence. So it totally disproves Aryan invasion theory. What it mentioned Aryan invasion theory? Horse was brought to India in the year 1500 BCE. But Mahabharata happened 3000 years before. 3000 BCE, 5000 years before. So it totally disproved. Even Tamil Sangam literature disproves Aryan invasion theory. And the Purananur 58 and Nattinai poem 32 worships Sri Krishna and Balarama as a god, as a historical personality. So that also proves Mahabharata and the interesting, beautiful comparison of duration of wars. But that we have to see. Silappadigaram, a famous Tamil Kapya, one of the five important Tamil Kapya, written by Ilango, the brother of Charan Chengutuvan, the king. It mentioned that Devasura war happened for 18 years. Sri Rama Ravana Yuddha happened fought for 18 months. And Mahabharata fought for 18 days. But this Chera king Shengutuva defeated his enemies Kanaga Vijaya in just 18 Nadika, 7 hours, 12 minutes. So you see 18 years, 18 months, 18 days, 18 Nadika, a beautiful comparison. But it mentions Mahabharata, the duration of war is 18 days. So it is a strong evidence that it is history. And the 17th Adhyaya, Silappadigaram mentions Sri Krishna Avatara. What it mentions? Tirumal Sirmai Kelador Seviyanna Seviyo. Like that, it worships Sri Krishna like that, and it narrated the whole Sri Krishna Avatara. So there are strong evidence for Mahabharata as a history, including Tamil literature, Tamil inscriptions, and Assam inscriptions. That we should understand. Then, how to derive? So we proved that Mahabharata is a history. Then we have to prove in which year that Mahabharata war was fought. That also important. No, then only we can prove. So what are all the scientific fields through which we can prove the Mahabharata date? One is literature, Aryabhattiyam, Vriddhagarga, Brihat Samhita, Purana, Itikasa, that I will tell later. And excavations, already I have dealt, Dwaraka, Kurukshetra, Hastinapura, Sanoli, etc. And inscriptions, the most important thing is inscription. I have found a total of 601 inscriptions at least to prove Kali Yuga began in 3101 BCE. So Mahabharata is just a few decades before that. And another thing is chronology. The chronology of various kingdoms and Indian eras and almanacs and other things. Through that we can prove. And fifth part is astronomy. So only astronomy is only a fifth pillar, not the sole pillar. So astronomy findings should corroborate with the literature, archaeology, inscriptions, and chronology. It cannot give a separate date. It should be coherent, harmonious with their date. In astronomy, two types of derivations. One is using astronomical statistics, data, trigonometric mathematical calculations that were described in the ancient astronomical texts of our nation. So far, I am the only person using this method. All other using various software program. Now, coming to the first thing, how to prove date of Mahabharata war using literature. For example, Aryabhattiyam, we know Aryabhatta, the great astronomer of our nation. He mentions Bharatat Purvam, 3 yuga were gone. That is Satya, Treda, Dwapara yuga were gone. So it is at the end of Dwapara. He didn't mention anything about Kali Yuga. So Mahabharata war was fought just before beginning of Kali Yuga. And Vriddhagarga, in his Garga Samhita, he mentioned Kali Dwapara Sandautu Siddhaste Pitru Daivadam Muneho. That means Muneho means the Saptarishi constellation. It was stationed at Mahanakshatra. Pitru Daivatam is Mahanakshara. Kali Dwapara Sandhi, that is at the junction of Dwapara and Kali Yuga, the Saptarishi constellation was at Mahanakshatra. That was the thing. Varaha Mihiran explaining this sloka, he mentioned Asan Magasu Munayaka, Sasati Prithvim Yudhishtiro Nirupatau. That is when Yudhishthira was ruling, this Munayaka, that is Saptarishi, was it Magasu, Mahanakshatra. Asan means stationed. So, this Yudhishthira ruling and Kali Dwapara Sandhi, both were one and the same in terms of time. Because at both periods, this Saptarishi was stationed at Mahanakshatra, and Saptarishi used to revolve in 2700 years. So definitely there cannot be 2000 years, 700 years difference between Yudhishthira and this Kali Dwapara Sandhi. So Yudhishthira ruled at Kali Dwapara Sandhi. So Mahabharata war happened at Kali Dwapara Sandhi. And astronomical texts mention that Vikrama Samvat of 57 BCE, that is Through more than 10,000 of inscriptions, we have proved that Vikrama Samvat began in 57 BCE and it began 3044 years after Yudhishthira. In the same Salivagana saga, that also proved through 20,000 inscriptions that it began in 78 Common Era and it began in 3179 years after Yudhishthira. So that also will help. Where this is described, it is described in Kalidasa, Jyotirvedabharanam, Brahmasphota Siddhanta, Brahmagupta, Siddhanta Siromani of Bhaskaracharya, Vadeswara Siddhanta of Vadeswara, Sisyadi, Vriddhita Tantram of Lalacharya, and Maha and Lagu Bhaskaram of Bhaskara. All these texts describe this. And is there any foreign author who mentioned this? That is an important thing. No. Abu Fasal Ibn Mubarak, a vizier in the court of Akbar, he wrote a book, Nain Akbari. In the first volume, third part at 263 page, he mentioned that 4696th year of Yudhishthira is same as 40th year of ruling of Akbar. So Akbar came to power in this year and 40th year is here, this. So if you deduct this year from this, it gives that Yudhishthira rule was around 3101 BCE. So Mahabharata war happened around this period only. Sir Alexander Cunningham, the first Surveyor General of British colonial rule, he mentioned in the page 7 of Book of Indian Era, same thing. And Henry Thomas Colebrooke, a great Orientalist, he mentioned in his book, that is Age of Aryabhatta, that is epoch of Mahabharata war, commencement of Kali Yuga and era of Yudhishthira are at nearly at equal time, that is around the same time, 1 or 2 decades different. So he mentioned that both all the three are one and the same in terms of time. And the second thing is, so through literature we have proved there are Purana and other things also there, that all these foreign authors also prove that Mahabharata war happened around 3100 BCE. And Puranic chronology, Bharatian era and calendar system. The Purana, especially Vishnu Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, Matsaya, Brahmanda Purana, Vayu Purana, they details the chronology of 3 kingdoms since Mahabharata war. That is, one is Kuru, Pandava Vamsa, then Ikshvaku Vamsa, that in which Rama and Buddha born, and Magadha kingdom, the famous Magadha kingdom of Bihar, up to the end of Andhra Satavahana. Why Purana describes this chronology means we have to understand the 5 important characters, Lakshana Purana is Sarga, Pradisarga, Vamsa, Manvantara and Vamsanucharita. Sarga and Pradisarga's creation, dissolution, and Vamsanucharita is the chronology of various kingdoms. So the Purana has to describe all these things. That's why the Purana describe. And Bhavashya Mahapurana mentions that the king Vikramaditya, Pramara dynasty of Ujjain, who started his era in 57 BCE, was born in 3000 Kali. And Kali Yuga Rajavritanda, another ancient Sanskrit text, mentioned the chronology of this Magadha dynasty up to Gupta Vamsa. So based on that, we can fix Mahabharata war, because they describe the chronology from Mahabharata war as the starting point. Okay. So Varagi Mihira in his Brihat Samhita mentioned one interesting thing, that this Sakan Nirupa era, that is Cyrus era, from Persian sources you can find out that Cyrus II started his era in 556 BCE, 550 BCE, at which he became a great empire of Persia. And from Yudhishthira to Sakan Nirupa era, there is a gap of 2526 years. So it shows that Yudhishthira lived up to 3076 BCE, and which year Yudhishthira went to heaven and the Saptarishi era began. So Indian era clearly shows that 3044 years after Yudhishthira, Vikrama Samvat of 57 BCE began, and 3179 years after Yudhishthira, Salivagana Saga began at 78 Common Era. And we know that Bharatian calendar system and various almanacs, you can verify any almanac, in Government of India almanac, it precisely mentioned the present year of Kali is 5122nd year. You can verify now. So these are all the thing, literature and other evidences. Now I am coming to inscriptional evidence. So far, I have found out 607 inscriptions. Out of that, I have published 436 inscriptions. The remaining I have to publish. They show precisely that Kali Yuga began in 317 BCE. After that, Aihole, Nidhanpur, Bhattara, and Jaisalmer inscriptions directly mention Mahabharata War, Pandava Vamsa, and Yudhishthira. These inscriptions are separated by thousands of kilometers from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, that is up to Tamil Nadu down south, and Gujarat to Assam far east. Though these inscriptions are separated by thousands of kilometers away along the length and breadth of Bharat, and they are issued in different languages by different kings and dynasties and during different periods, that is ranging from Kali 2000 to Kali 5033, that is range is 3033 years. Even then, distance is 1000 kilometers, different language, different kings, different period, yet they point one date precisely that Kali Yuga began in 3101 BC. That is a strong thing. And for want of time, I will detail only two inscriptions out of 607. One is the famous Aihole inscription of 634 BCE. It mentioned that after Mahabharata War, 3735 years in Kali Yuga and 556 years of Sakayara. At the year this inscription was inscribed, that is 634 BCE, some 1304. So we can back calculate. We have enjoyed independence for the past 75 years, and we suffered the British colonial rule for 150 years, and there is a great kingdom, Maratha Empire, for 100 years, and Vijayanagara Empire, 250 years, we should be proud of that, and 200 years of Hoysala, Kakatiya, and later Pandya rule, and 300 years of later Chola Empire, and 300 years of Pallava Empire, because Magendra Pallava, Narasimha Pallava were contemporary to Pulikesi II, who issued this Aihole inscription. So total 1375, 75, 150, 100, issued to 1375 years. This is 3735 year Kali Yuga. If we add 5100 years, 10 years of Kali Yuga in the present year. Now it is 5122. I have given only approximate, not exact 156, 152 like that, just to understand easily. So it definitely proved that Mahabharata War happened around 3100 BC before that. Okay, hence Aihole is an important thing. And another thing is Bhattara inscription. It was issued by the king Govinda Kesavadeva. He is from Gaur dynasty. He ruled Sylhet, which is a small district at present day in Bangladesh, eastern part of Bangladesh. And his ruling period is 990 to 1040 Common Era. What it mentions is date 4151 years after the era of the first king of Pandava. That is Pandava Kula Adi Pada Abda. Abda means here, Pada means king, Adi Pada means first king. Kula is Vamsa. So Yudhishthira. So from Yudhishthira up to this inscription, there elapsed 4151 years. He ruled from 990 to 1040. So between these 2 years only, any 1 year, he issued this inscription. So the range for Mahabharata War is 3161 to 3111 BCE as per Bhattara inscription. Suppose if you apply this date to any, many scholars mention date before 5500 BCE. What will happen? Then this regnal period of King Govinda Kesava will be 1349 BCE, 3369 years before present. After this Govinda Kesava Deva, the Bengal Sultan Samsuddin captured Sylhet in 263 years. So, yes, if you apply this date beyond 5500 BCE, then it shows that Bengal Sultan Samsuddin ruled Bengal, including West Bengal, in 1000 BCE. We know in what period his religion started, and when he entered into Bharat, and when they entered into Assam. So it totally disproves 1000 BCE. The religion started in 622 Common Era. So totally disproved. And another thing is, if you apply date after 2400 BCE, The regnal period of King Govinda Kesava will be 1751 BCE. Just 269 years before present. After that, 263 years after that, King Bengal Sultan Samsuddin captured Silhat. So, as per this date, 2400 BCE, now Bengal Sultan Samsuddin would be ruling Silhat. It is not Mamata Banerjee. It is not some president of Bangladesh. It is only Sultan Samsuddin. So, it also totally disproved. So, for want of time, I am describing only, explain two inscriptions out of 607. But if you apply same thing, all inscriptions will prove this date around 3100 BC only. And so from this we can understand that date of Mahabharata war, though it derived through astronomy, it should be coherent, consistent, corroborative with Kali Yuga epoch through literature, epigraphical evidence, Saptarishi era, chronology of Pandava, Ikshvaku, Magadha dynasty, and Vikrama and Salibhagana era, and the writings of Aryabhatta, Viruddhagarga, Varakimera, and Kalidasa, and many astronomical texts. It should be corroborative. Why I am stressing this means, if we apply same astronomical events, and if these events are happened in the year 1947 Common Era, at that year we got independence, if they are well fit in 1947 Common Era or 2000, just 20 years before, whether we can take that year as the Mahabharata year, because astronomical events are satisfied. Why didn't we take? We cannot take, because chronology is wrong, epigraphy is wrong, archaeology is wrong, era is wrong. So, astronomical era date should be coherent with literature, with epigraphy, with archaeology, with chronology. Then only we can accept. Astronomy alone cannot decide date of Mahabharata war. That we should understand from this point. And another important thing is the war at the end of Dwapara Yuga, internal evidence from Mahabharata, from Adi Parva, Vana Parva, Salya Parva, Maushala Parva, Santi Parva, Mahaprasthanika Parva, Stri Parva, Bhishma Parva, Sabha Parva. These are all Adhyaya number and Sloka number. You can verify. It clearly mentioned that before Kali Yuga beginning, 36 plus years before Mahabharata war happened. Mahabharata war happened at the end of Dwapara. Especially Vidura and Sanjaya mentioned to Dhritarashtra that Kali Yuga at the doorsteps, and it is presently Dwapara Yuga. So that we can understand. Now coming to the last part of my lecture, the most important point. That is astronomical events. What are all the astronomical events described in the text of Mahabharata war? I will narrate 26 points one by one. Why it is important? Why I selected that? That also I will explain. First point is Sri Krishna went to Hastinapura on peace mission. What it mentioned? Kaumudi Masi Revatyam Saraddande Himagame. So it is Sarad Ritu, it's at the end, and Hemanta Ritu is going to come, and Revatyam means at the Revati Nakshatra. The most important thing is Kaumudi Masi. Kaumudi Masi means Kartika month. We should know Sanskrit, we should know archaeology, astrology, and we should know seasons, Bharatian calendar system. Then only we can decipher this sloka correctly. So, Krishna went to peace mission in the Kartika month, in the Revati Nakshatra. That is before Kartika Paurnami. So, Mahabharata war definitely would have happened in the Margasisa month only. That from that we can infer. And another thing, second point is Sri Krishna told Karna on returning from peace mission that war had to be started at Amavasya, falling on the 7th day, presided by Indra. I have mentioned the Parva and Sloka, you can verify. Saptamachapi divasat Amavasya bhavishyati. Sankramo yujyatam tasyam tamakugu sakkara devatam. Saptamachapi divasat, that is on the 7th day, Amavasya bhavishyati. Amavasya is going to happen in future tense. Sangramo, that means Yuddha. Yujyatam. We have to link that day, 7th day, with the Yuddha. Yujyatam means we have to link. So at that day we have to start war. And why Sri Krishna mentioned Sakkara Devatam? Why this word is there? Sakkara Devata means Indra. We should understand Sanskrit. Amarkosa also we should know. Then only we can decipher. Without knowing Sanskrit, without knowing history, without knowing geography, astronomy, astrology, mathematics, and tradition culture of this nation, We cannot derive Mahabharata war. So Sakra means Indra, and astrologically Sakra, Indra is the presiding deity of Jyeshta Nakshatra. That's why we can definitely conclude that Kartika month Amavasya happened in Jyeshta Nakshatra. So Jyeshta Nakshatra, Yapte, Monier Williams, Vijay Jayanti Kosa, Amara Kosa, clearly all these dictionaries, lexicon prove this. So we should know Sakra Devata means this one. And we cannot mention Sakra Amavasya not in Vyasa or Anuradha. Yes, some scholar is telling. Sakra Amavasya means Sakra, it happens at Sakra, that is Jyeshta. Kartika Amavasya can happen in Vyasa and Anuradha and Jyeshta. So you got to understand this difference. And the other important thing is, when the Amavasya happens at Jyeshta Nakshatra means what? In the end of Amavasya, sun and moon will be in the same longitude. They will be in conjunction. So on the Amavasya day, definitely sun and moon will be in conjunction. Further, the Amavasya happened in Jyeshta Nakshatra means sun and moon are in conjunction with Jyeshta Nakshatra. That is an important thing we have to find out. So Amavasya happened in Jyeshta Nakshatra means sun, moon and Jyeshta Nakshatra all in conjunction, are in same longitude when we see from earth. That is the important thing of this sloka. And moon and sun afflicting Rohini. Moon and sun, astrologically, it has only 7th aspect. So Rohini is exactly opposite to Jyeshta Nakshatra. So 7th is exactly opposite view. So it can afflict if they are in Jyeshta Nakshatra. That also prove that sun and moon are in Jyeshta Nakshatra. And Vyasa mentioned important thing is Amavasya, that is new moon, occurred ill-timely from 13th day from the full moon, that is Paurnami. From Paurnami to Amavasya, you can see calendar. There will be commonly 15 days or 14 or 16 days. Never happened in 13 days. So it is a bad omen. That was explained Vyasa to Dhritarashtra to stop war. Because Amavasya occurred ill-timely in 13th day. That is an important thing. And further important thing is, 5th point, lunar and solar eclipse in the same month at 13 days interval. Sandra Surya Ubhav Grasta Ekamasim Triyodasim. That is, the interval between lunar and solar eclipse will be 13 days, Triyodasim. And Ekamasi in the same month, it happens. First, he mentioned Chandra. So, lunar eclipse first happened and then Surya second eclipse. So, that is important thing. Then, moon. Moon in Kartika, it is in Kartika Paurnami, that was mentioned by Vyasa Dhritarashtra. Vyasa to Dhritarashtra, that is Paurnamasim Kartiki. So, Kartika month Paurnami happened in Kritika Nakshatra. That was we inferred. And Karna to Sri Krishna and Bhishma Parva, Vyasa mentioned that moon is not in good condition and it is without light rays. So there is an eclipse of moon on Kartika Paurnami. That we have to understand from this sloka. And Rahu is approaching sun, solar eclipse. That is Rahur Arkam Upaiti Cha. Arkam means sun. Rahu is Rahu, we know, ascending node of moon. Scientifically, it is us. Rahu and Ketu are not imaginary things by our ancestors. It is scientific. Rahu is the ascending node of moon and Ketu is the descending node of moon. That I will explain how it is scientific. So Rahu is approaching sun. That means there is 2 points we are inferring from this. There is solar eclipse at Amavasya at Jyeshta Nakshatra. Because Rahu should be very close to sun, then only solar eclipse happen. That is maximum of 18 degree. So Rahu should be either at Jyeshta Nakshatra or adjacent Nakshatra, either before or back. It cannot be further away. So Rahu is also in Jyeshta Nakshatra. So Jyeshta Nakshatra, sun, moon, Rahu are there in Jyeshta Nakshatra. That is the inference we got from this, not only solar eclipse. Another important point, this one. Then coming to Saturn, Karna replied that Sri Krishna, that Saturn afflict Rohini Nakshatra. Prajapatyam is Rohini Nakshatra. And he also mentioned Pranino Adhiha, that it also affect Prani, that is animals. So we cannot take that Saturn is Rohini Nakshatra. If we take that, then we got to accept Saturn is with animals. It cannot be with animals. Saturn is in the sky and animal is on the earth. So it views, it aspects, it affects Rohini Nakshatra and also the animals. In the same way, Vyasa told that Saturn is afflicting Rohini. Here, Sthita means firm, strongly it afflict Rohini. And another thing is, Saturn not only afflict Rohini Nakshatra, it affect Purva Palguni also. Bhagam Nakshatram Akramya Surya Pitravana Pitayate. That is, Bhagam Nakshatra is Purva Palguni, Surya Putra is Saturn. Saturn is the son of Surya, son. Okay, son of sun. Okay, so it also affects Bhagam Nakshatra. And where it is situated, that was also mentioned by Vyasa in Bhishma Parva. That is, Visakhayaha Samipastu Brihaspati Sanaichara. Sanaichara means Saturn. Why it is called Sanaichara? Chara means moving, Sanai means slowly moving. The angular velocity of Saturn is the lowest out of all Graha. So you can understand how much our ancestors knew astronomy. That we also understand. Brihaspati. Brihaspati, that also, that is Jupiter. Why it is called Guru? Because it is the largest. So out of all the Graha, Guru, Jupiter is the largest. So our ancestors knew astronomy very well. That way is a byproduct of this sloka. And what is important for us is both Jupiter and Saturn are nearer to Visakha. Visakhayaha Samipasto. Samipasto is nearer. So Saturn is situated near to Visakha and it afflicts Rohini Nakshatra, it afflicts Bhagam Nakshatra. So that's Saturn has. So how we link all the three? Saturn cannot be at three places. So it should be defined that Saturn is situated in one nakshatra and due to its Graha Drishti, Nakshatra Drishti and also Zodiac Drishti, Rasi Drishti, it afflicts Rohini and Purva Palguni. So that I will explain in the next session. So it has aspects. All three aspects are there. Graha Drishti, Nakshatra Drishti, Rasi Drishti are there. With that we can explain that. And Jupiter is near Visakha, it affects Rohini Nakshatra. So Jupiter has 5, 7, 9th Drishti. Saturn has 3, 7, 10 Drishti. Jupiter has 5, 7, 10 Drishti. 5, 7, 9 Drishti. With that we can explain. And where Jupiter is situated, it is Visakha. It aspects Rohini Nakshatra. Not only that, Jupiter aspects Sravana Nakshatra also. Sarvanecha Brihaspati. So 3 points for Jupiter. The position of Jupiter and Saturn should satisfy all these points. Then only I can be correct. My year will be correct. And coming to Mars, there are 5 points for Mars. Mahas Ankarako Vakraha. So Mars afflict Maha Nakshatra badly. That is 1 point for Mars. And another thing is, Mars is acting cruelly at Jyeshta Nakshatra and it is moving towards Anuradha Nakshatra in a friendly manner. Kritvacha Ankarako Vakram Jyeshtaya Madhusudana. Madhusudana is Krishna. Anuradha Pratayade Maitram Sangamayanyeva. So it moves towards Anuradha Nakshatra and it also affects Jyeshta Nakshatra. That also we get to explain. When we fix Mars position, all these things should be satisfied. And Mars Lokita is fully covering Samvritya Sravana Nakshatra. It also has to affect Sravana Nakshatra. Our position should be like that so that it can affect Sravana Nakshatra based on astrology. And it mentions that Vyavasthita, that is an important thing. That is, Mars is not staying at Sravana Nakshatra, but staying apart. From that, it aspects and affects Sravana Nakshatra. Vakranu Vakram Kritvacha Sravanam Pavaka Prabhaha. Brahmarasim Samavritya Lokidanko Vivasthita. That is the Vivasthita, that is staying apart. And the most important sloka is Venus and Mars, Mercury were in conjunction on the 18th day of war. That is on Salya Parva. Brihasuna, Brihu Rishi's son is Venus, Sukra. And Dhara Putra, Dhara is Earth. Earth's Putra is Mars. From Earth only, at Ujjain only, Mars separated. And Sasineja, Moon's Putra, son is Mercury. From Moon, you can, even in scientific, you can see this Earth's soil and Mars soil will be same. and Mercury's and Moon's soil will be saved. It is proved scientifically. So our ancestors are correct. So Venus and Mars and Mercury were in close conjunction on the 18th day of war. From where this what we can infer? So Venus can be only within 45 to 48 degree from Sun. In the same way, Mercury will be within 18 to 20 degree, either this side or that side. Why? Because Earth is revolving not only the Sun, it also revolves Mercury and Venus, which were revolving around the Sun within the Earth's orbit. So it also revolves around both, all the three, Sun, Mercury, Venus. So when Earth and Mercury and Sun is there, it is 0 degree. When Mercury is like this, there will be gap of 18 to 20 degree, 28 degree. So Mercury can, because Mercury is closer to Sun, so it has less value. Venus is next circle, so it has more value. So Venus and Mercury, if you see Jataka, Venus and Mercury will always move with Sun, just within the same zodiac sign or next zodiac sign. So that means Mercury and Venus are very close to Sun, and because Mars is in conjunction with Mercury and Venus, it also very close to Sun. And most important thing is Mars can go retrograde only when it is 163 degree away from Sun. Surya Siddhanta mentions 165 degree, modern science mentions 163 degree. So there is no retrograde motion for Mars during the war. That we can infer. So coming to the 18th point, that Venus is viewing attentively at Purva Bhadrapada, that is situated in the Meena zodiac sign. So Venus has only 7th aspect, so it may be in Kanya zodiac sign. And the 19th point is 7th. I will explain in later how it is possible, because I have explained that Venus should be 45 to 48 degree from Sun. How can it situated in Kanya? That I will explain. And 7 Mahagraha starting from Sun are separating and issuing out during Karna Parva, that is 15th and 16th day of war. Karna Parva means that is. So before that, all the 7 Mahagraha will be in conjunction. So there will be all the 7 Graha very closely situated in a single zodiac sign or very close to in the next zodiac sign. That is an inference. So that also is satisfied. We cannot put Mars there and Sun here. All the 7 Mahagragas should be in conjunction in the same zodiac sign or very close. That we should satisfy in our date. And Mercury must be within 18 to 28 degree, that I have shown. And Ketu is 180 degree. So you can see Jataka. The Rahu and Ketu will be opposite, always 180 degree different, because ascending node of Moon and descending node of Moon always in a circle, they are both separated by 180 degree. So that also we should satisfy. And Paurnami should happen in Kritika Nakshatra in the Kartika month, and on that lunar eclipse. So Ketu and Moon should be very near. That also we should satisfy. And these are important points, but I will explain later. There are 42 days of pilgrimage of Balarama. That nakshatra are mentioned, that I have to explain. And 56 days of stay of Bhishma and Sarpya orbit from the 10th night of war up to Maha month, Shukla Paksha Ashtami Rohini Nakshatra. That also I have to explain. That on the Bhishma Mukti, there is Uttarayana. That I have to explain. And moon rise after sunset on the 14th day of war. That also my date should satisfy. So all these 26 points, my date should satisfy. Then only my date is correct. And I have covered all 26 points. Why I added all 26 points? I have just taken 1 or 2 points now. Like Arundhati Vashishta epoch, just 1 point. If we add more and more points, astronomical events, our date will be more precise. If we take 4 or few points, many dates will satisfy. That is 1000 BC, 2000 BC, 3000, many dates will satisfy. If we add more and more point, then only one date will satisfy all the 26 points. That's why I taken all the 26 points. I have omitted Syamagraha, Svetagraha, Parugraha. Why I have omitted? Because we don't know what Vyasa mentions, which Graha mentions by Syamagraha, Svetagraha and Parugraha. We cannot assume things. Based on assumption, we should not do history, date. History should be based on facts, not on assumptions. So this, we don't know at present day what, even nobody knows what is Yamagraha, Swetagraha and Parugraha. It is all only assumptions. So based on assumptions, we cannot do. Maybe they are Upagraha. And regarding comets attacking Pushya Nakshatra and Kritika Nakshatra, Vyasa didn't name which comet. Even if he named, we cannot find out which comet, because modern name is different and Vyasa's name will be different. And the velocity and the frequency of the comet visiting Earth will be different. So we cannot judge that. And regarding Arundhati Vashishta reference, I will explain in a debate only, because I have a strong point Arundhati Vashishta. It is, my view is, it is cannot be taken as an astronomical event at all. So that I will explain. And with that, I nearly going to complete the first session. So far in this session, we discussed about Mahabharata is a definite history. That there is no doubt in it, not even an iota of doubt on it. It is a definite history. Our brothers and sisters who are living in Bharat should understand our ancestors' history is definite, 100% history. We should not go with the foreign Orientalists or some other persons who are denying anything, our history as a myth. So that we should understand. And the derivation of date of Mahabharata were many scientific fields are there, not only astronomy. Literature is there, epigraphy, chronology, archaeology, and astronomy. Astronomy is one of the five only. So astronomy alone cannot decide Mahabharata date, because if all the 26 events are satisfied in the year 2021, in the present year, I cannot say that Mahabharata war happened in this year. It should satisfy other literature, epigraphy, chronology, and archaeology. And that is the importance of corroborative coherence, harmony among all these scientific fields and their findings. There should be that. And there is a 36 years of gap between Mahabharata war and Kali Yuga epoch, and astronomical events described. I have narrated 26 points, how they are important and how can they guide us to derive Mahabharata war date precisely, that I explained. In the next two sessions, I am going to explain the method I have adopted. It is an unique method. So far in the entire world, I am the only person adopted that method, because it's a very difficult method. To do one calculation on Mercury, it will take me 2-3 days. Just Lakhu Bhaskara describe how to derive the position of Mercury and Venus in 4 lines. That was explained by 8 pages. That was understood by me, and it took 16 hours. And to do calculations for each Mercury and Venus, each one took 2 days. So it is a very difficult thing. You can operate just on a software, and this computer will tell where Mercury is there. But to do these calculations, we should understand trigonometric calculations. We should know astronomical calculations and other thing, and we should work hard. So these astronomical constants, calculations, trigonometric mathematical calculations of ancient Bharatian astronomical texts, I will explain. What is Agargana, what is Spudagadi, Spuda position, Madhya position, Desandra, Bujandra correction, and other correction, Manda, Sigra correction, I will explain. It is cross-verifiable, so it is scientific, and it is well established, followed more than thousands of years in our nation. We can see in Mackenzie collection, some almanac in the year 1700 itself, that is 300 years before. He wrote it down. So authentic and gave correct results for 1000 years. So it is 100% reliable, and based on that, I derive the year of Mahabharata war, and I will analyze and discuss how that year satisfy all these 26 points. It is not only that, how it is corroborative, harmonious, and coherent with all other scientific fields like literature, archaeology, epigraphy, chronology. That also I will discuss, and after that I will conclude what is my date. And with that, I will complete these 3 sessions. I wholeheartedly thank Sangam Talks, the team of Sangam Talks, for giving me the opportunity, and also the eminent personalities and great scholars, students, and all persons who listened to me patiently and encouraged me. Thank you. Nandri, Dhanyavadaga. Thank you very much. If there is any questions, I am ready to answer.
Dr. Raja, an excellent lecture by you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
I enjoyed your talk. Excellent, excellent. And you have taken the evidence from various aspects and fixing the Mahabharat war. And I congratulate you and you to proceed this type of work in future and to give a very good evidence for our Mahabharat war as well as the other things. I congratulate you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the encouragement and blessing, sir.
Namaskaram,
Namaskar,
Raja,
sir. Namaskar, sir.
It's really great work. And how many years did you take to work on so many aspects? Because astronomy is one side, astrology is another side, and then how come you have learned so much of Sanskrit which you could interpret and put it across? I mean, it's a personal question, but I think that would be very nice if you can say something
sir.
about it.
It is all Professor Raman and you, with all your blessings and from the blessings of Sri Krishna, God is there. We are all just instruments. But it's started me interesting because I read the history of our nation and I found a lot of distortions. So I found first initially I want to find truth. So because most of the texts are in Sanskrit, so I learned Sanskrit and I learned astrology, astronomy and mathematics. So to complete this project, I learned all these things. So it took me a few years. Even this writing one book, it took me 1 year.
Very great, sir. Please continue the work so that you learn so much and we learn a little bit from you. Even that increases our knowledge. Really grateful, sir. Raja, sir, very grateful.
Thanks for giving the chance. And it's a very wonderful talk by Dr. Raja. And really appreciable that you have covered all part of the India with relating this history. So I have basically two questions for this. One is that in Delhi, we have a old fort and it is also considered to be at the era of Mahabharata. So do you find any evidence in your research that is related to the Mahabharata? And my second question is that you have a wonderful research in this area. So how do you think to include this into the historical textbook of India?
See, as an independent scholar, I am doing all this research. But when the government is approaching me, definitely if the central government, they are with the new education policies, they want to rewrite Indian history. So if they approach to me, I am ready to help 100% to rewrite our Indian history. That is our humble duty to our motherland. I am not demanding anything. It is as a duty, humble duty to my mother. I am ready to do my service at her feet, and I will definitely cooperate with the central government, and they should approach me. There are evidence there. Definite evidence is even that SAR can do research on that. I can help if I found any evidence, I can forward to him. So he can do research on his own. So not only myself, we as citizens of this nation, as a son of our nation, we should come together and we should work together and we will definitely arrive. There are enough evidence. See, for example, I can quote, I have read in Mackenzie collection, who was a surveyor general, first surveyor general of India. He worked in India from 1783 to 1830, 40 years. On those days, there is no cell phone, there is no telecommunication, there is no road, there is no electricity. In spite of that, with the help of two locals, he collected a lot of inscriptions and manuscripts. One of that manuscripts mentions Kali 2000 inscription, that is 3100 years before. So I, from last November, I am tracing that inscription, and finally I have found that inscription. I have taken the photocopy, I have taken the estampage, I have taken the transliteration, and I have found many evidences in support of that, literature evidence for that inscription. So there are evidences. It is all hidden. We have to do hard work and it will come out into our hands and we will work humbly and also combinedly. We should not work for name, fame, anything. We should work for our nation. That is my humble
Thank you,
request.
Dr. Raja. I have listened your lecture with Chakrapani ji, also was also a historian from the ISKCON, and as I am the student of Siddhant Jyotish in the Panini Sanskrit University, Jen, I just want to ask you that can we relate our the discovery and the study you have done to the different idols and different places which are located in Vrindavan and Dwarka, because Sangam Towns has also invited the Dr. Brajesh Jha, who have done a lot of studies in for the excavation of the Dwarka. So can we collaborate and come with some kind of renewed discovery about these things? And secondly, how we can collaborate with you, because we are also studying on the Siddhant Jyotish related to the astronomy. So is it possible then a number of students and professors who are in the different universities
Okay,
and
sir.
so
Sir,
how we can help you?
Sir, you see, my first request is we should work as a team. There will be definitely evidence for Mahabharata in Vrindavan, about Sri Krishna's history also in Vrindavan. And if I from Tamil Nadu, if I go there to Vrindavan and find out, it will consume more time and expenditure. Suppose a person or a team of persons who are in Vrindavan, who are likely to work with us, if they combine with us, and I will work in Tamil Nadu, he will work in Vrindavan, and somebody will work in Assam, somebody will work in Jammu Kashmir, Gujarat. Like that, if we have a team, the job will be very easy. I want a team? Because ours is a vast country, and our ancient history from Mahabharata at least 5,000 years old. No other country has that much antiquity. And the inscriptions, literature, and other evidences are abundant. So one person, even if he devote his whole time, since the age of 20 to up to 80, he cannot complete that work. So we have to work as a team, and I welcome. I have given my contact number, my mail ID there, or you can ask Sangam Talks. They will be very helpful, and they are also working for our Dharma only. So they will definitely help us, and we will, yes, with the Sangam Talks and with all, we will work together. And I am very happy that you approached me. It gives me immense pleasure to work with you. Definitely, you please call me and we will join on work. My mail ID is here, my website, my contact numbers. This is WhatsApp number.
Okay, yeah, you can keep it on this slide.
Okay,
so I would request our audience to please note this down.
Okay.
Thank you, Sangam Talk. And thank you, Dr. Raja, for a most brilliant lecture.
Thank you,
My
madam.
question is somewhat similar, now that it is, we have all grown up. We have heard story of Mahabharata and Ramayana, but everybody calls it a mythology.
Yes,
so now
madam.
that, you and I have heard a lot of other lectures, thanks to Sangam Talks again, that this is historical.
Okay, madam.
So why this is not included in our history books? Why do we only learn Mughal history? And, we must change our history books and we must talk about this so that the future generations at least know something better than us. Don't you think it's about time that was done?
It's exactly what you are told is absolutely correct, madam. I am in 100% accept your view. See, why I chosen history? See, even if there is a good governance for 10 years, if our descendants, the future generation, if they don't know our history, then again this nation may go into slavery. So the most important thing is history and education. So because as a ordinary citizen, I could not do much work on education. It's a government thing. So I chose history. So even this history, I did research on as an individual, and I have a few friends of me to help me. They are very cordial and they are helping me. But this government should come forward, either to you or myself or both of us, and they should ask us to produce all the evidence, and they should only make change in the history textbooks. They should be ready. So I have approached many topmost officials and ministers in the present government. They are not helpful. They are not listening to me. I have many times I have written letters to them, even to PMO and other education ministry office, but there is no response. That is the thing what happens, madam, that we have to accept. Okay, madam. Please continue, madam.
Yeah, I think the government is only interested in staying in power, whichever government comes. They are not bothered about history. They're only bothered about writing their own history.
Madam, we cannot pass that type of comment. But government, if forwards, we will definitely help, madam. It is our duty, and we will obey the government, and we will submit all the evidence to them, and they should change. In that way, we will helpful. If they won't come, I will do my research on my board. There is nobody can prevent me.
Sir, excellent presentation, sir. Really
Thank
new
you,
perspective
thank you.
into seeing this. Sir, one question from my side. Now, I see that most of the shlokas and the evidences you have taken from Vedavyasa's Mula Bharatam, the root
Yes.
Mahabharata, right?
Oh, yes.
Now, my question is like there are regional variations also. I'm from Andhra. We have an Andhra Mahabharatam composed by Nannaya also, and in that, for example, Nannaya gives importance to some of the events that have taken place in this region. For example, when Sahadeva came down to subdue the southern kings before Yudhishthira performed the Rajasuya, Nannaya has described that more rather than Vyasa had did in the Mula Bharatam. So, like you gave the example of the king in Silhet, which I did not know before this talk, that he had inscripted 4151. So, how important do you think it would be for us to also study the regional versions of it and then derive the evidences from there and collaborate it with the Mula Bharata?
Yes, very good question, sir. Even in Tamil also, Villi Mahabharatam is there. In this larger Chinnamanur copper plate, it means Mahabharatam Tamil Poduttum. That Pandya king requested the poet to translate Mahabharata, because Mahabharata and Ramayana is not an external thing to any person who is residing within Bharat. It is their own history. So, and each region want to project its importance in that. Okay, that we should accept. And but for evidence, for deriving exact date and other history, we should go for Mula Bharata. And at the same time, we should not neglect the regional text of Mahabharata. See, in Kambaramayana, it will be in somewhere else, it will be different from Valmiki Ramayana. But Kambaramayana is very interesting thing, and that poem will be lovable and beautiful. That also we should enjoy now. It is in our mother tongue now. So we can easily understand. So both are important, but for historical derivation, we should go for Mula Bharata. For other thing to enjoy and to know what is Mahabharata, that is important. The regional texts are also important. They have also a very good role to play, and it should be respected. See, for Kumbakonam edition, this Sakadeva coming to down south is mentioned, and also one important thing is mentioned in Kumbakonam edition of Mahabharata text of Vedavya. In the first Vanavasa, and married Pandya's daughter, Pandya king's daughter, Malayadwaja Pandya, Chitrangani. So that Malayadwaja Pandya has only one daughter, no son. So ultimately Arjuna's son became the Pandya king. He participated in the Pandava Gaurava war. So that and all important thing. Many things are, you see, it is from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, it is one nation. Everything is related, nothing is separate. We should understand, and local language, Mahabharata and Ramayana, it also should be given much importance so that it will propagate our culture to the people. That is important. But for historical facts, we should take only Mula Bharata. That is my opinion. Thank you for asking me. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you, sir. We will have in touch with you.
Namaskaram.
Namaskar.
So I had a question about the inscriptions. So you mentioned there were around 600 or something, and you just two of them because time didn't permit you. So I had two questions. One, what is the oldest inscription to date, like which has been found? And two, do you find any inconsistencies in the inscription, or they are coherent with each other? If you can
Thank you, Fran. See, I have found out the oldest inscription dated in Kali Yuga, that is Kali 2000. Kali 2000 means present year Kali is 5122. So it is 3120 years, 21 years before that inscription. That inscription is still there. Okay, that is the oldest inscription I have found. I have found doesn't mean this is the oldest, because I would have not found some other inscription which will be older than this. So as far as my concern, I have found this is the, based on my finding, this is the oldest inscription, and there is definitely consistency. See, in 436 inscriptions I analyzed, it mentioned not only Kali Yuga, it mentions other era like Saka era, Salivakana, Vikrama, and other Kollam era, and also Common era also, in Kochi date also. And it mentions the dynasty name and king's name. So based on the dynasty and king's name and the mentioning of other era, we can cross-verify the date of that inscription. So, and we can verify whether it is coherent. Out of 436, 84% of the inscriptions mention any one era or any king's name. Everything is coherent. I have proved in my book. I have analyzed your question. I have already analyzed and gave result. It is 100% coherent. No doubt in it. For example, Tiruparanguntra inscription. It is 3864, but they found out 3874. There is a word Shashtya. Shashtya means 60. Feminine gender. Third vibhakti. Madhi sabda. So they have converted into Shashti. That is 6. So 6th day of the month. Like that. So it is only our end is some wrong. Not our ancestors' end. If you analyze inscription correctly, it will give correct date. That is my strong opinion. Thank you very much for asking me the question.
And to get Dr. Raja's books, they're available on Amazon. So you can go and search on Amazon and you can get Dr. Raja's books from there. So Rohit B says, is there any public repository of Indian inscriptions which is available on the internet?
Internet, Epigraphia Karnataka is available. You can download. Tiruvangur Archaeological Society inscriptions, that also you can download. As far as Archaeological Survey of India publication, Epigraphia Indica, that PDF form is available, surprisingly, in BJP website, Bharatiya Janata Party website. It is available. You can download. And annual reports of Indian epigraphy, there is no PDF. South Indian inscriptions also, few volumes are there. So you can download. But actually, I tried to take a PDF of all these things so that people who are researchers, they can easily approach, they can do their research better. But unfortunately, I couldn't do it because a lot of permission I have to get, and it involves some finance, so I couldn't do it. But it is available.
The last question we have, Dr. Raja, is from Avichal Raghuvanshi. He says that as a student, how can I learn our ancient Indian mathematics, Sulba Sutra, Shilpa Shastra, ancient trigonometry, etc.?
There are books are available. For example, Leelavati is an excellent mathematical book written by Bhaskaracharya. The English translation is available. This Sulpa Sutra, Char Sudra, that is in Hindi translation is also available. In English translation is available. English translation is available from Indian National Science Academy. Indian National Science Academy, New Delhi. This book is available as hard copy. You can buy from Indian National Science Academy. All the 4 Sulpa Sutra with original text with English translation is available, and Hindi translation, some book is available from a common publisher. So like that, Leelavati is available. Everything is now available. People are started searching. So slowly one and another thing is coming. So there will be a bright future for this student. And if he has any guidance, I am ready to help him. Because it is my duty to help him. Like that interested personality who is devoted to our nation, it is my duty to help him. He can contact me at any time. I will ready to help him and guide him.